The Saints upgraded their secondary in a very interesting, hard-hitting way, drafting Jonas Sanker from Virginia. We'll talk about the pick and what he'll bring to Brandon Staley's defense right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
What is up, Who Dat Nation? Welcome back inside another edition of the Straight Up Saints podcast. I'm your host, Chris Rosvogu, and as always, the Straight Up Saints podcast is brought to you by Scott Vicknair Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, hurt offshore, Scott Vicknair handles it all. You give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. They'll always fight for the win. The Saints making what is for now their last pick of the day, and that is Jonas Sanker from Virginia. I think this is one of those kind of picks that if you're a Saints fan and you're looking for something to excite you for the rest of the night, a little late night film session, pop on Jonas Sanker, watch him run downhill, watch him turn himself into a human heat-seeking missile, and just enjoy. He is a willing tackler. He's got pretty solid range. He's the type of player that the Saints can use right now. I think it was imperative for this secondary to get more physical safeties, especially after what we saw the last couple of seasons. I think that kind of took a little bit of decline for the Saints. And when you bring in Justin Reid from the Chiefs, obviously that's a great way to do that. Justin Reid's a fantastic football player. I loved when the Saints signed him. But you need to get younger at the position as well. Tyrann Mathieu's not getting any younger, obviously. And at some point, you need to kind of have that succession plan to make sure you have more options at the safety position. So you bring in Jonas Sanker, who I think obviously is going to be a downhill tackler, very willing to do that. I think from a special teams perspective, I know no one really wants to hear special teams for a third-round pick, but I think as you start to kind of get him acclimated into being an impact safety and getting him used to playing a key role in Brandon Staley's defense, if he develops to that point where he can do that, at the minimum, you're going to be able to use him on special teams. Made a lot of big plays in that department for Virginia. So I really love that aspect of it. I think he's got pretty good eyes, good anticipation, just a solid tackler overall. So look, I think Jonas Sanker is the type of move that fits a position in need. I think safety was an apparent one for the Saints. I think at this point in the draft, value lines up. If you're big on that, right? I know a lot of people like to talk about whether or not it lined up on people's boards. Here's one where if fans are going to complain about other picks where, it didn't line up with what everyone said, Sanker lines up pretty much. If anything, I think the Saints probably got better value at 93 as opposed to where he may have been projected. So I like the pick. I think he is one of those guys that will pop off film for anyone that watches. And I just hope for Sanker's case, right, he will be able to develop into an impact safety, right? I mentioned how he'll be a big-time special teams guy off the rip, but 3-year starter at Virginia, you want this dude to end up paying dividends for this team, and I hope he can do that. And I think the measurables are something for the Saints that was impressive. And one thing I'll bring up, because obviously they really love kind of those relative athletic scores, Sanker was tied for the third quickest 10-yard split for the safeties at the combine, 1.51 seconds. So stuff like that matters to them, man. Now, where's he going to match up? You're going to match him up against tight ends down the road? Maybe. But for now, special teams and an occasional hard hit, they'll probably get some oohs and ahs in the preseason is what I'm expecting from Jonas Sanker. So let me know what you guys think of the pick. Do you like it? Do you feel like he's going to play a big role in this defense this season? I would love him to, but it'll probably take some time. And for now, anyway, you got Justin Reid and Tyrann Mathieu holding down the fort. And where would you like to see the Saints go next? The focus obviously going to shift over to day 3 for New Orleans, where as of right now, the Saints are slated to pick twice in the 4th round, once in the 6th, and then twice in the 7th. Hopefully New Orleans gets a little active and makes some trades at that point, but we'll see. But they need to get a running back, maybe a pass catcher, could use another offensive lineman, and could always use more D-line and secondary help. But in terms of secondary help, definitely checked off a box with Jonas Sanker. So as I mentioned before, let me know in the comments what you think about the pick. Subscribe to Buku Media's YouTube page if you haven't, and stay tuned for more from the Straight Up Saints podcast, because we're going to have a whole lot more on day 3 after all, and see Destination 4, the Who Dat Nation.